Hello and welcome to this video about job interviews in partnership with EasyCity. Today we will talk about how to prepare for a job interview in English, and we hope you finish this video feeling more confident and ready for an interview. Before having a job interview, it is of course very important to prepare. Job interviews in the UK, like in most countries, are quite formal, so you should dress smartly. Think shirt, jacket and trousers, as first impressions matter. When you are dressed professionally, it shows that you want to get the job and work for that company. When you start working at the company, the dress code might be less formal, depending on the industry. Make sure you research the company before the interview. Check their website and find out more information about them, and be ready to explain why you want to work for that company. What makes them special or different? What is their mission or their values? Doing your research means you are not only prepared, but again shows that you want to work at that company. In most job interviews, the interviewer will want to find out what you have learned from your previous job roles. A good way to do this is using the STAR method. STAR is situation, task, action, and result. Therefore, if the interviewer asks about a time when you solved a problem at work, you would talk about when and where it was, the situation, what you had to do or what the problem was, the task, what you did next, the action, and what happened in the end, the result. For example, when working at my last company, I had to meet many strict deadlines and sometimes my workload became unmanageable. I then looked at ways to maximise my efficiency by using different time management tools and prioritising different tasks. This meant I was able to manage my tasks more effectively and I met my deadlines. Now it's your turn. Can you think about a time you solved a problem at work? So now let's look at a few examples of common interview questions. Generally, interview questions are split into different areas. Questions about your work experience, leadership skills, ability to work in a team, lateral thinking and problem solving, among many others. Let's start with questions about your work experience. Take 1 minute or pause this video and write down any questions you think you might be asked. So, let's focus on some examples. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Remember, when we talk about weaknesses, we want to try and make it positive. For example, I sometimes pay too much attention to detail. This may be a weakness from your perspective, but could be a positive for your potential employer. What do you enjoy most and least in your current role? How do you react to criticism? Again, we want to make this one positive and to show that we will not be defensive or upset when our work is criticised. For example, when my work is criticised, I approach it as a way to improve how I work and to get better in my job role, as I am always looking to improve. When answering these questions, it's important to show the interviewer not only what your skills are, but why they are useful for the company. Using the phrase, "which means that," is really useful. For example, I have great time management skills, which means that I can manage a heavy workload well. How would you answer these 3 questions? You can pause this video and make some notes or practice your answers. Don't forget to use "which means that" in your answers. Working in a team is of course a huge part of many job roles and is something many potential employers will be looking for. It also shows your ability to communicate well with others, which is vital. Common questions might be, what sort of people do you find it difficult to work with? What sort of contribution do you make to a team or work group? Describe a situation where you're a member of a team and conflict arose within the team. What did you do? How can we answer these questions? As we talked about before, we can use the STAR method to answer some of these questions. For example, when I was working on a project with my team in my previous job, some people in the team disagreed on some key decisions about the creative ideas and the timeline. I suggested that we should consider the pros and cons of each creative idea before making a decision. This meant that no one in the team felt personally attacked if their idea wasn't chosen. Finally, let's think about questions connected to lateral thinking and problem solving. Here, the interviewer is looking for examples of how you think and how you can find solutions in your job role, as these are skills which will benefit the company. How good are you at solving problems? Can you think of any specific times when you have solved problems at work? Pause the video and make some notes. Common job interview questions here are: give an example of a situation where you solved a problem in a creative way. How would we answer this question? The STAR method, of course. Can you tell me about a time when you acted to improve a process or make a system work better? Tell me about a time when you had to identify the underlying causes to a problem. Having some specific examples in mind always helps when answering these questions. This is where preparation comes in, and it's key to have 5 or 6 examples in your head to avoid feeling flustered or put on the spot. But what do you do if you can't think of an example or situation? To avoid difficult or awkward silences, you can use expressions to give yourself time to think. Let me see. That's an interesting question. Or, well, can all give you some extra thinking time and also show the interviewer you are considering your ideas first before speaking. Often at the end of an interview, the interviewer will ask you if you have any questions you would like to ask about the job role or the company. Therefore, when you are preparing for the interview, make sure you note down some questions you would like to ask the interviewer. These might be specific questions about aspects of the job role. You can find this information in the job advert, the working hours, location, or the long-term strategy of the company. Even if the interviewer has answered your questions already, it is good to show you are prepared by asking the questions but showing you have listened and now know the answers. For example, I wanted to ask about the long-term company strategy, but you have already answered this and said. Here you can paraphrase what you have heard, which again shows you have good listening skills. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you feel more prepared for job interviews in English. Good luck!